Welcome to the Pop Tower Podcast with your host, the man behind the myth, Peter Dawson, and the Soulful Lordy, James Bullock.
You know, sometimes people are just getting high, people getting low, people going nowhere because they don't know where to go. And this is the Pop Tower. Look, we got copyrighted straight on the last episode, so
Yeah.
I'm going to go for broke if that's going to happen.
Yeah, like that was ridiculous.
I still don't understand how that happened in the first place. Like, somebody's going bot crazy. That's all I can say.
Yeah, that's all it is. That's all. They see something or hear something, and it's like, oh, we own that, even though you don't. Oh, we're going to take that, even though we're not making money off of it. We want that.
I'm not even sure I own myself. Anyway, this is episode 52 of the Pop Tower. I nearly called it the Clock Tower.
Clock Tower?
Well, I mean, this is already going to get copyright struck just because it has the number 52, and DC Comics
Yeah,
is going to be like
that
mine.
could be it. 51 could have been it. That said it all.
That could be it. Just that we're at the point where numbers are now triggering. Man. Anyway.
This age we live in.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about movies and video games today. By the way, how you doing, James?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Little red, little blue, little Keanu Reeves, but I'm in pretty good shape.
But did the good boy get the good pats? Oh, man. So many memes. We'll get to that, because we're going to talk about E3, but we're going to talk about a couple movies first.
Yeah.
Because by the time we get to E3, we'll probably... Oh, that's probably going to be the biggest talking point of this episode. Let me put it that way. And honestly, if it wasn't for timing, that I haven't had a chance to go see another movie we're certainly going to talk about next time, I would...
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
I would have probably just nixed one of the ones on this list, because...
Yeah. I think I need to let that settle for a little bit.
Yeah, you and me both, right? Like I said, I haven't flat out seen it, but I already everything I've heard. Yeah. But that's for next time.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about two movies and E3. And I'm going to open with, this is a movie that had a decent amount of hype behind it, but I don't think it ultimately, well, we can talk about it a bit more, but Brightburn.
Yes.
It was not directed by James Gunn. He was one of the producers. Like, part of the reason is it was called Untitled James Gunn Horror Project for a while.
Yeah.
And like his cousin Mark and his brother Brian, who not to be confused with Sean Gunn, who was one of the guys in Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Mark and Brian, they were heavily involved with the script. But it was directed by I gotta read this right here. David Yarovesky?
Yeah, I was going to let you just hang you on that one. I wasn't going to try.
That's right. Hey, man, I can say other things.
It's David Ya.
David Ya's Queen. I'm sure he'll love that.
Untitled David Ya directed horror project.
Sure. Anyway, so this follows the small town of Brightburn, Kansas.
Yes.
Where we
confused with Smallville.
Yep. There's a reason. It's basically, what if Superman was a supervillain origin story? That's really what it is.
Superman was the worst kid in the world.
I know. That's really what this movie is. Like, in a nutshell, it's just, hey, what if Superman didn't learn any lessons?
Yes. Like, he heard a voice in his head. If he was like the Randy Orton of super kids, and like that's what he turned out to be.
Yeah, like, he's just the worst.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything to really go into there. It's just...
Well, actually we can, because this is the thing, when we're introduced to the character, because they have this big time jump, where at first we're seeing the parents trying to have a kid, but it's not working out. Then all of a sudden, some alien spacecraft lands, and they believe it's a gift from the heavens themselves, of having this beautiful baby boy. And then next thing you know, he's a preteen. So there's this big gap of him, being a baby and growing up with these humans, and pretty much being a normal kid. He has his little odd things here and there, like pretty much any kid does. But then we discover that there's something in the barn that is calling him. And from that moment on, he just becomes a weird kid that actually has superpowers.
The barn wants me to do it.
My favorite part where the early moment where they test the fact that he's actually gifted is when he can't start a push lawnmower, and he has super strength apparently, and the lawnmower goes flying. And I thought about this thing. Okay, one, how's the lawnmower running after that? after that long distance drop? And two, how is he going to explain this to his dad?
Yeah, I know, I can't even imagine. Like, it's just, oh man, this is kind of the strength and the weakness of the film, because it's just like, what if the Superman origin went wrong?
Yeah. Because I love the fact, like, you actually tease the point that he has, like, a crush on one girl that shows, like, hey, you're a smart kid, I like you. And that just gets, like, completely warped. Like, everything that you expect to be good from the movie in terms of the way he interacts with people becomes completely warped.
Yeah. It just the worst. I don't know, like, just to put it simply, hey, if you ever want to see Superman just turn into the Omen,
yeah,
that's probably the easiest way to put it.
That's the best way of comparing it. Like, that's the best comparison. Superman meets the Omen.
Yeah, because it's not like Superman Red Son, which is where he ends up communist. And there's like another one where it's like he ends up getting adopted by the Amish.
Yeah.
But like, no, this is just he's like, it's like the only thing I can compare it to is like, what if it's like the Iron Giant, where it turned out his race had sent him to destroy.
Right,
and then he suddenly remembers that.
The whole thing. Or like, that's what I was saying, like, maybe he bashed himself in the head. And but the thing about, like, what that thing, this entity that we discover what it is really, calling out to him, like, that should have been the trigger. Like, he was a sleeper cell for this alien race, and he just so happened to forget. And he just goes off. But not only that, it's not just the fact that he, like, goes off because he has the ability to do so. He's, like, inherently evil apparently. But he also has a very high superiority complex.
Oh, yeah.
Like, as the movie progresses, he really becomes full of himself. And for good reason, but still, it's not endearing.
No. Like, it's just, oh, man.
Yeah, it's funny that we say this. We never even said his name is Brandon. I just thought about this. And the only reason I bring this up is because as many times they say his name, but they rarely say his super villain or superhero name. And I didn't know it until I looked it up. Like, he literally was calling himself Brightburn. I had no idea.
Yeah. I know, this is the thing. It's just like, oh, and it's just called Brightburn. All right.
And he has his rip-off Roman Reigns logo.
Yep. Because everybody needs a logo.
Everyone needs a logo, even when you're murdering people.
Yeah. Like, that's kind of the thing, is which you quickly realize what's going on, because it's what the movie was sold on. And then it just takes forever to get there.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's weird because they had, like, this nice slow build of trying to show, like, he may not be all there. He's not like a normal kid. Then all of a sudden, like, he has his powers, and then he does terrible things. And then, like, nothing happens. And then he starts doing a whole bunch of terrible things.
I know, it's
like really inconsistent in the pacing of his gradual progression into this almost insanity-fueled evilness. It's really weird. Yeah, it's bad pacing.
Yeah, it's kind of the problem. It's
not to mention his mom. To me, that was like the worst part of the entire movie for me. I understand a mother's love. Like, I get that. But there were so many signs that she knew about, and she refused to admit to it.
I know.
I can understand, like, being in a sense of delusion, like, you're trying to just ignore it. But there were like moments that she was seeing. Like okay, there's one moment, not to spoil too much, but there's one moment where she catches him in the barn, and this dude is levitating. Like, she should know something's up here.
Yeah.
Dad, though. Dad, he had it on point. I gotta give
He
him
understood.
Credit. He understood. Dad was
I'll
on point.
take the boy. It's like, what if Bambi turned into Old Yeller? And just when you think he's about to of mice and men his son.
Yeah.
Oh, it turns out Lenny's bulletproof.
Yeah.
What an unfortunate development. I just dropped so many pop culture references. Like, this is the thing.
I know.
Like, despite being somewhat original, it feels kind of derivative, and it doesn't...
It feels like we've seen this before, and we really haven't.
I know, and, like, the character stuff is fine, but it's not well-paced, and as a result...
No.
Like, because Elizabeth Banks' performance in general is pretty good.
Right. It's just a bad character.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of one of the crimes, and, like, you know, yeah, Superman could be terrifying under the right circumstances, and this is absolutely one of those, but it's like, I mean, we kind of got that with some other... But, like, I just feel like this was done better in other things.
Yeah.
Which is a darn shame, because, you know, they just flat out go for the Superman-style origin this time, and it just felt weak. I mean, it's still an interesting film, and if you've not exposed yourself to this type of thing before, it's worth seeing.
No, it's not a bad movie. That's the thing. It's just kind of average. It's kind of bland to a certain extent, where it should have been magnificent. It should have been... Honestly, I think it's one of those movies that really needed so much more time than it got. Like, it's pretty much a 90-minute runtime, and it really could have used 2 hours.
Yeah, and but the 90 minutes, like I said, the pacing was off too, and so...
Right.
I mean, maybe if they were used to writing 2-hour movies, and they didn't know how to cut 90 minutes, and so that's how we got the weird bit, but I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know, I don't necessarily fully agree that the runtime was the problem.
Okay.
But it might have been why it ended up so average as it did.
Right.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, for me, it's one of those things, like, maybe, yeah, like you were saying, because the way the pacing was and everything, maybe they kind of, like, actually stretched it out a little bit more than they needed to, but then it was kind of like herky-jerky, like you tell, was really odd in the way that they edited and put it together in terms of pacing. But one thing I will give it credit for, I absolutely loved the ending. I thought they did a magnificent job of that.
Yeah, no, that's... I can actually sympathize with the character, which is horrifying. Right. But I mean, I've sympathized with the characters in like Black Mirror episodes who turn into total monsters.
That's true.
So I mean, you know, they could, I just watched Shut Up and Dance again the other night. I forgot how sympathetic the main dude who turns out to be a pedophile is. Right. Like, you know, he feels like such a reasonable dude, and you're like, and then there's the part where you're like, oh, he's also a monster. I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know how to feel about this
now.
I don't know.
Why don't you make me actually like this guy?
Yeah. I mean, but the stuff he does by the end of the episode is reprehensible, no question, but...
Oh, very much so.
And, you know, it's one of those episodes where the end is like, what moral should I take from this? Because, I mean, you know, sometimes it can be hard to take a moral.
I think, in terms of Brightburn, the moral you should take is never pick up a baby that fell out of space.
No, the moral of the story is you find a baby that crashed from space, you put it down.
Oh!
you pull a Will Smith, Welcome to Earth, you punch that baby in the face.
Now, with that knowledge, are we sure they could have put him down?
They would have found a way.
They never explain exactly like when the powers activated. Like it might not be specifically at an age. So maybe if even as a baby, he could have been like bulletproof.
I say you put him in a burlap sack. You know what? I'm going to stop now because I could go into graphic detail, but that's going to sound way too much like legit tragedies for me to continue.
No.
You understand how dark I'm getting. Like,
yeah.
I, of course, do not advocate child abuse, but for comedic effect, when talking about, hey, this kid's literally evil.
Yeah, no, it's the Omen kid that just so happens to have superpowers instead of supernatural powers.
Well, it's like in real life, I would never intentionally assault a pregnant woman, but if I knew a pregnant woman was possessed by the devil and this was a comic book universe, I would punch that woman.
But I'm saying like the kids like Goku. Like Goku as a baby had a lot of strength, so.
Yeah, like, this is also like Dragon Ball Z if Goku never got brain damage.
Right.
Man,
but
what I'm saying.
He didn't have a tail.
No, he's got a tail. It's him blowing up the city.
Oh man, no, I mean solid movie, but to me ultimately forgettable, which to me it shouldn't have been. It should not have been this forgettable.
I think we've been kind of hitting that nail on the head for the last few minutes. We should probably move on.
So let's go on to something that's a little bit more catastrophic and in the most positive way possible.
I absolutely love this movie. I'm not gonna lie. This next one we're talking about, I don't think it's the best movie of the year. I don't think it's the best movie of the summer. I don't think it's even the best movie in the franchise, but I love the hell out of it.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about Godzilla, King of the Monsters. And I will explain to you exactly why I love this movie. It is pure Godzilla fan service.
That was the thing that got me. I was not expecting it to be as good of a fan service project as it is.
Yeah, like the critics are absolutely right that the plot isn't very good because, the plot in these movies is almost never good.
No, but I mean, you don't care about the human aspect a lot of times. You just care about how it builds up to the epic clash between the monsters.
I mean, the most interesting thing about the humans to me was just that a certain spoiler thing when a certain twist happens.
Okay.
Another part of the twist, I can't. I kind of don't want to spoil it just because I think it's a clever part of the twist.
Yeah.
Because there's a twist you see coming and it's like, all right, that makes sense. But there's a sub part of that twist which is actually kind of clever.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say it's wholly original, but it's something that a film like this normally wouldn't do.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
I think you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Like, the film is, I think, more clever than you might think, but it is ultimately still, the plot is just there to service the action.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's some stuff I kind of wish they didn't just call the monsters Titans, for example. That just always feels lazy to me. Generic Mickey monster thing. I mean, if they were allowed to call them Kaiju in frickin' Pacific Rim, you could probably get away with calling them this as well.
Yeah,
unless that somehow screwed them over. But who knows? And so Godzilla King of the Monsters is a direct sequel to the when did that other one come out? 2014?
That's 14, yeah.
Yeah, it is legitimately a sequel to the 2014 film, complete with a couple of recurring cast members.
Yes.
Which I did like. And didn't bring everyone back, though, which is good, because I'm still weirded out by Elizabeth Olsen and Aaron Taylor Johnson playing love interests.
Yeah, but certain people we were better off without.
Yeah, I didn't even mind their characters that much. It's just they weren't,
It just didn't fit.
No, once they killed off Bryan Cranston, it's like, what are we here for?
Yeah.
Like, this one at least, it feels like they were being more intelligent.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of cute references and things like that, which just made this movie such a good fan service film.
Even from a musical standpoint.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's Bear McCreary from frickin' Battlestar.
Yeah.
And Walking Dead.
Great.
And it's like, hey, this is what it's like when he has even more money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
I can live with this.
Yes, this is good. We need to give him more. Can we give him more money? Yeah. It was nice, too, because the movie was even dedicated to a couple of, because it was, what's his name, Bono?
Yeah.
And then, and of course, Nakajima, the original suit actor.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie really is a love letter to classic Godzilla.
Yes.
For good and for bad.
Obviously, I from the human aspect, and I think a lot of people kind of miss out, or especially if you haven't experienced like the original Godzilla movies, to understand as insignificant as the humans are, they do play a big role in every Godzilla story, especially in the character arc of Godzilla itself.
Yeah.
But it's never been the focal point. It's never been like, oh, these stories are so epic and grandiose and even really that memorable without Godzilla.
No, there's always these weird plot. Like, the one I always love is Godzilla versus Biollante.
Okay.
Where the scientist creates a psychic plant monster using DNA from Godzilla.
Right.
It's just like, what? And he just creates this Cthulhu plant monstrosity. And then just all this other stuff happens, like there's a weird spy plot, and there's like evil oil companies. It's just, oh man.
But instead of weird plant monster, this time we have a beautiful sound.
Yeah, well, which ties into Return of Godzilla. I want to say 1984, 1985.
Right.
Because that one was birdsong.
Right, exactly.
And in this case, it's
the orca.
The device. Yeah, it's just a frequency on a thing called the orca. Because sure. I mean, because whales, emit powerful sounds. So I mean, if you're gonna do the sound thing again, calling the device that does it the orca, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not the most contrived thing they do in this movie. The most contrived thing is probably just how well funded this bioterrorist organization is. Much like in Game of Thrones, Charles Dance has way too much financing. Where did he get the money? Okay, but so the basic premise of the plot is that the Monarch Company, who showed up in, they were kind of in the original, but they really showed up in Kong Skull Island.
Right, exactly.
Which is, we're finally going to get the two tying together next year, because the sequel were Godzilla vs. Kong.
Kong, yeah.
Which is not to be confused with King Kong vs. Godzilla, the original crossover movie, which featured a subplot where Japanese salarymen from a pharmaceutical company go to an island full of Japanese people in blackface.
Yes.
That movie has not aged well.
No, not at all.
By the way, they did that because they originally thought it was going to be racist if they used an indigenous Japanese people.
Yes, exactly.
So I always love that. It's just like, all right, we don't want to be racist.
Racism with racism.
We don't want to be racist against this group of indigenous Japanese people, so let's put them in blackface. I don't even want to think about a comparison.
I know, no.
I'm already uncomfortable just saying blackface that many times.
Oh man, it's incredible. It's incredible to think the thinking of those times sometimes.
The 70s were weird, man.
Yeah, it's weird time. It was a weird time. A lot of drugs.
Yeah.
It was a big of drugs.
They're the best drugs. You could take them; they wouldn't kill you instantly, unlike fentanyl nowadays.
And that's what everybody says. Like, you think about the rock stars now. Like, how are they still alive after all those years of drug abuse? Well, they weren't taking the drugs that's out there now.
Yeah, they weren't taking fentanyl.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Speaking of powerful drugs, the oxygen destroyer shows up.
Oh yeah.
That is probably. This is the thing that has me hyped because I've been talking to people about this, and the Godzilla heads I know, the kaiju heads or whatever you want to call them, they're all convinced now that means Godzilla vs. Kong is eventually going to turn into a team-up where Godzilla and King Kong fight Destroya. Yeah, who's one of the classic kaiju that we don't see enough of, because Destroya, it was created by the Oxygen Destroyer. Now, the Oxygen Destroyer, for the benefit of people playing at home, because in the original Godzilla film, like the art house Godzilla film where it's, it's a symbol of nuclear war, and it's actually like a powerful drama where the human drama is actually, very important. And the monster is meant to be horrifying and not friend to all the animals.
Right.
Like in that one, they create the Oxygen Destroyer to kill Godzilla. So, not only is that a reference to the original film, one of the sequels eventually had Destroya be a parasite created by the Oxygen Destroyer merged with Godzilla's cells.
Right.
That became this ridiculous mutant, unstoppable thing. And so there's a lot of hype that the Oxygen Destroyers have shown up.
And then, you can actually tie that into... And I've always believed that into World War II.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because, that's the whole thing, is the oxygen... Godzilla himself is meant to be a metaphor for the nuclear bomb originally.
Right, and then, what Destroy is, the aftermath of this traumatic tragedy.
Yeah, because it's just because the weapon detonated doesn't mean it can't still cause havoc.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of really good stuff in there. And then, because isn't Ken Watanabe's character, Watanabe?
Yeah,
Ken Watanabe's character Serizawa, isn't he named after one of the dudes from the original?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, pardon me. Had a kaiju attack. In this case, in this case, the basic thing is the humans are discovering the Titans all over the world, and bioterrorists want to use them to destroy the planet because F the planet.
Right.
And
we will live elsewhere in space.
And so we get a plethora of classic monsters. Although the big four are we get Mothra.
Yes.
Because hell yes we do.
Yeah, it does an appearance pretty early in the movie, and there's a moment very late in the movie. One of the most gorgeous moments I've seen all year in a movie.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. This movie, one of the reasons I love this movie is how pretty it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because having watched all the classic rubber suit stuff, I enjoy seeing beautiful CG rendering these characters the way they should have always been. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing, especially with Godzilla, and especially in this movie. They did a good job in the last one, but to me, this one, since we had more screen time with them this time. Godzilla, the design is absolutely magnificent.
Yeah. And because the four key monsters, like I said, there's Mothra, Godzilla, Rodan has a pretty big part.
Yes, Rodan is a huge moment.
That chase sequence is really good.
Yes.
And of course, there's the one we've been waiting for. Monster Zero himself,
yes.
Ghidorah. Oh my god, Ghidorah is amazing in this film.
Yes it is.
The head movements are phenomenal. Also, I want to point this out, 3 heads, one of them's a moron. You know what that means? Ghidorah is the hyenas from Lion King.
Yeah!
That's the joke I didn't want to tell you before we started recording.
Yes!
Was it Left Head, I think? The one that just kind of randomly starts licking corpses?
Yeah, and it's like, get a hold of yourself, what's wrong with you?
That's the Ed Head. And I want to point out, Left Head's the one that gets bitten off in the movie.
Yes, it does.
That's a plot point for later. I won't spoil exactly how that figures in, but that's a thing.
No, that was a great moment. And that was one thing I was actually surprised. Like I said, I try to stay away from trailers and everything because I know they spoil so much now. And I actually was shocked they got such of the big four in there. So well done.
Yeah, we do see some cameos from other ones. Because I can't remember, it's 20 or 40 of them, something like that?
Yeah.
There's a lot, and I'm sure there's a couple in there. I think I saw an octopus monster, which I think is a reference to Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I think that's also something else in the canon, too. But, I mean, I'm not so up on some... I know the key ones. Of course, you got the Mechagodzilla, you got your Varan, you got your Agranarius, or whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm ultimately... And, of course, I referenced Biollante earlier. But I couldn't tell you all of them. I know there's some really weird ones. There's one that has chainsaw arms.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one that is. But... No, yeah, this movie is visually gorgeous.
Yes.
And while it does fall into the usual traps of having a human plot that isn't great, it is still relatable, if a little unrealistic, and I do care about the characters enough that when bad things happen to them, I'm sad.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, there were definitely some sequences late in the movie that they did a good enough job to make me actually care about what was happening to the humans more so than what was happening on the battlefield for a particular point in time, and then I wanted to get right back to the battlefield.
Yeah. Although I will say this, Thomas Middleditch, not as funny as I was hoping he was going to be.
No, not at all.
He was actually quite annoying.
Yeah.
Much like Jake Johnson was in Jurassic World.
Yeah, very much so.
I like the actor. This was not a good role for him.
No, not at all.
He still has one of my favorite episodes of Harmon Quest, if you've ever seen that.
No, I haven't.
He plays a parody of Bilbo Baggins' Dildo Bagpipe.
Oh!
And he leans into it hard. It's glorious.
I'm gonna look that up.
You should. That's a very funny episode. But this is definitely a good one to see on the big screen.
Oh, very much so. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because it is
IMAX or something, man. Do it.
It is a gorgeous film. It is, and I think it's only 2 hours. It's not.
Yeah, it's barely over 2 hours. It's not long.
Oh, it is over 2 hours. Yeah, that one. It doesn't exactly fly by, but I wouldn't say it overstays its welcome.
In the second act, it's a little bit of a dip.
Yeah.
But it's not that bad at all. It's nothing that oh man, when are we gonna get this this point or whatever. It's nothing that bad. It's nothing that grating. But overall, it's a very, very easy sit through.
Absolutely. So, that note, let's move on to E3.
All right.
We got so much to talk about. I want to go in order of press conferences. I don't know about you.
Huh?
I want to go in order of press conference.
Okay, yeah, we can. We can.
So, Microsoft...
It starts off pretty good and just goes bad.
More or less. There's some pickups.
Yeah.
But, they started with Microsoft, which showed off more Outer Worlds, which I'm super hyped for.
Yeah, the Fallout that you always wanted.
And it looks like it's going to be in the Windows Store, too, not just the Epic Store.
Yeah, they've actually made it a note of that yes, it will be available beyond just Epic.
Which is good for me, because I want to play it on PC, and I didn't really want to get the Epic launcher.
Oh, yeah, I don't blame you.
Just too many launchers.
Oh, yeah.
But they showed off some Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
That looks good.
Yeah, but we didn't get a lot of really a feel for things, I think.
Yeah, it gave loose gameplay, but mostly video CGI and the typical thing you would see at E3. But at this point in time, is this supposed to come out in November?
Yeah.
You thought you would see a few more demo presentations for it by now. I don't think I've heard anybody say there actually was a demo on the floor for it.
Yeah, I'm worried about this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, because, I want a good Star Wars game. Yeah, November 15th. That is quick.
Yeah, that's not far away as it seems. And considering the fact that certain games, like one game I know we're going to definitely talk about, had a demo on the floor,
yeah,
and Star Wars didn't, is definitely troubling.
That is troubling. Trying to think here. It's, some stuff. I like that there's another Ori game, but I don't have much to say there.
Yeah.
Of course, we have to talk about this one. Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah. It's amazing because if you think about it, if Sony had a press conference this year, I truly believe that would have shown on this stage.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think Sony would have gotten this, but Microsoft was able to pick up where Sony dropped the ball in this case because Keanu Reeves, Miyamoto,
yep. the internet's husband. Seriously.
My goodness, man.
Ever since that Keanu was a thing, they've just been we need to marry him.
Yeah.
And he really is just the most likable dude. I remember watching, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Octavia Spencer telling the story about how Keanu Reeves saved her when her car broke down. That is just one of the most adorable stories. I think it was Octavia Spencer. No, I can't think of who else it could have been. I could be wrong about that. But, yeah, he just seems like it's going to be such a soul-crushing moment if it turns out Keanu Reeves is secretly, just doing something horrible. Doing the Brightburn thing I described earlier, unironically.
Right.
But it is cool to see him in Cyberpunk 2077. It'll be interesting to see what the actual gameplay is like, because we still haven't gotten much of a taste of that, unfortunately.
No, unfortunately, it's coming out, early April of next year.
Yeah.
So it's still got a lot of time. So thankfully, they shouldn't have to rush it. But I know that people have talked about it that, actual, GameStop, IGN and everybody has been able to see it and talk to developers and everything. And they're promising, a lot of choice, a lot of open-ended storytelling. So right now, the promise is very high for it being a great game.
Absolutely.
But, like you said, we need to see some gameplay right now.
We really do. Because The Witcher 3 was a great game, but the initial gameplay was not great. And even after
it had such a learning curve.
Even after it got polished, there were still some problems.
Yeah.
Combat against the harpies or whatever is still not fun.
Yeah.
And the fist fights got tedious.
Very much so.
And I still think that was one of the best games of that year. The only reason I gave Fallen for the Edge is I just had a slightly better time because it wasn't the gameplay that annoyed me. It was partially because I didn't set up that many settlements, which I know annoyed people who did. So it's very subjective.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you on that note. I think that was one thing, Fallout 4, you kind of jumped in and it felt familiar.
Yeah.
And Witcher 3 was completely different from The Witcher 2, of course.
Yep.
So it was just this gigantic learning curve, and it was really rough around the edges when it first came out. So, yeah, I completely agree with you on that.
I think the only other thing I really want to talk about from the Microsoft conference, I mean, some stuff I'm hyped for, like, Dying Light 2.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. Yeah, Dying Light 2, they showed a trailer. I mean, we've known about this. We actually saw a trailer, I think, last year for E3, where they kind of was redundant about the whole thing. Oh, now you can, once again, settlements. You can start working with encampments and stuff like that. And
yeah.
It seems like it's be more oriented where you're fighting more humans than zombies in this game, but still having the Dying Light quota of trying to avoid zombies at night. I'm really excited about it. I love the first Dying Light. You and RD told me about it. I said, just play Dying Light. I said, okay.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it was a great game, so I'm excited.
It was a fun game, yeah. Like I said, the biggest problem I had with it is I didn't think it was fully optimized for single player.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see how this sequel goes. But the other one I want to talk about, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
Wow, yeah, that announcement.
That came out of nowhere, and I was like, interesting.
Because there was an unannounced Dragon Ball Z game they were working on.
And it's an action RPG.
But yeah, we just assumed there was another fighting game.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea it was going to be an action RPG.
Yeah.
It's very similar to like the throwback of the old Game Boy Advance Dragon Ball Z games.
Yeah, I know. It's so interesting because like, it's proper like intense 3D combat, but then it's like RPG elements. Like I know one of the things they showed off was you can do a fishing minigame with Goku's tail as the bait.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's definitely some interesting stuff going on there. I'm really keen to see more because it looks like it looks like it at least covers to the end of the Frieza saga.
Yeah, it showed up at least to that. And really, I think that's like the perfect way to stop when it comes to like that big character arc for Kakarot.
Absolutely.
Even though I know, of course, we have the Cell Saga, the Buu Saga, and everything else, but it always felt like that was really Goku's coming of age story was up until the Frieza saga.
Well, yeah, that was the point because I mean, with Cell Saga, that was when Gohan was supposed to take over.
Right, and then they screwed that up because, of course, Gohan doesn't have the kind of personality.
I know, that was kind of the bummer that the Buu Saga ended up kind of ruining what was a really good arc in that way, but
right, yeah.
That's a Dragon Ball discussion for another day.
I know.
We should probably move on to Bethesda. We should mention, of course, Project Scarlet.
Yeah, once again, the unofficial announcement of the Xbox 2. So.
Don't you mean the Xbox 4 play?
Ah.
Somebody called it the Xbox 4, and I've just been like, 4 play.
Yeah.
Because I'm so immature.
But,
anyway,
they're promising. Once again, next year, as everyone assumes, is going to be holiday 2020.
Oh, probably.
Not only this will come out, but PlayStation 5 coming out.
Yeah.
And they're promising, of course, it's going to be like, what is it, 4 times better than the Xbox One, but like 40 times better something else? I forgot how they compared it to.
Yeah, it's interesting numbers, and like based on what the specs of the PS5 were that got leaked, these could be some powerful machines.
Yeah.
So let's see how that goes. Like I was saying, Bethesda though, well, they didn't have much to show off. Boy, howdy.
Oh, Lordy.
Yeah, they had a couple of neat things I want to quickly touch on though, because Ghostwire Tokyo looks awesome.
Really? That was the only thing I wanted to talk about from
No. There was another one from there I want to talk about too.
Okay, yeah, Ghostwire Tokyo looks absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and like, of course, the presenter, she really put some effort into it.
Oh, yeah, we passed the torch.
Yeah.
And good Lord, does she have some energy. Like,
oh, man. I want presenters to be like that.
I know, but that was very simplistic. And it was a situation where it felt like, oh my goodness, she's actually working on something she truly loves.
I know, that's the thing, because there was that one guy, when he was presenting, what was it, I think, Elder Scrolls Online.
Okay, yeah.
Going yeah! He was just trolling the guy. Yeah. Where in this case, nobody wanted to troll this lady. She's a nice lady.
No, she looks like not only is she nice, but she's enjoying the product that she's working on right now, and she wants us to enjoy it too. So I'm excited about it. Like, that was one of the few new games that they announced that I'm really pleasantly surprised about and hoping to see more of and excited about.
She must be protected. Sorry, I always have to say that when like stuff happens. I mutter that a lot when I'm watching Fruits Basket lately. Whenever the female lead does something adorable, which is often, I'm like, she must be protected. Anyway, yeah, Bethesda they really didn't need to have a conference this year.
No, it's mobile this, what we've succeeded that, and in between.
And hey, we made Fallout 76 have content.
And then Fallout 76 got Battle Royale, yay! I'm still not gonna play it.
Damp fart sound.
Yeah. Like, I uninstalled it in November. Like 2 or 3 weeks after it came out. I'm not putting that thing back in my game.
No, you had a chance and you blew it.
Exactly. I do not care anymore.
I mean, I talked about how Witcher 3 got improved after launch. It still had a decent game to start with.
At least the base game was still entertaining.
Yeah, same with Fallout. I mean, it's just, well, not 76, but I mean, 4.
Fallout 4, yeah.
And New Vegas.
Oh Lord, yes, New Vegas. 3 and New Vegas had me hooked from the start. Even when New Vegas started glitching out a little bit. But
New Vegas had so many glitches.
Oh yeah, that was like the beginning. To me, that was like the first realization. Like, oh my goodness, these games are getting broken more and more when they come out. We need patches. Yep. Day one is not the best time to purchase a game anymore.
Nope.
That was that first real revelation.
Meanwhile, Devolver Digital returned.
Oh, yeah.
And once again, everything that they introduced as a joke actually was real.
Yes.
Including the Enter the Gungeon light game. The arcade cabinet thing, that was real.
Yeah.
And I always loved the line, isn't that what we want as gamers? To be disappointed?
Oh my goodness, man. That was like the beginning of this downward spiral that made everyone, including myself, like wonder why in the world is this E3 even happening?
I know. We just need that video. That's all we need all these days. But, PC Gaming Show. There's some interesting indie stuff going on, I will say. Like, I wanted to point out, we finally got an Evil Genius 2.
Mm-hmm.
We finally got a Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2.
Yeah.
Chivalry's getting a sequel. And then we got all this weird, like, Conan spin-off stuff.
Yeah!
Because we got Conan Unconquered, we got a new Age of Conan thing, I think, and we got Conan Chop Chop, which I'm not even sure what that is.
Yeah.
I must have missed that part.
It's probably a racing game.
We got Shenmue 3, of course, which they've now confirmed is going to be on the Epic Store.
Yeah, that was a mess.
Oh, that pissed off a lot of people.
That was a mess. 'Cause, I mean, for those who don't know, the fact that Shenmue 3 was kickstarted and backed by players, and now there could be a huge group of players that were intending to play on PC via Steam and can't, man, that's a slap in the face.
Yep. I mean, to be fair, the Epic Store didn't exist when it got kickstarted.
Yeah, of course, like, we didn't know that the platform would change like it has. But even then, it feels like you're still slapping the potential buyers, or in this case, actual backers that are going to purchase your game in the face, because now one of the avenues that they thought they would be able to play is no longer relevant for them.
Yeah, and since it was actually listed as being for Steam,
exactly.
that is potentially false advertising.
Very much so.
I mean, it's a bit more of a gray area than some of the other times this has happened, but it's still not good.
Yeah. I mean, but you were promising this potential release on these potential systems, and now one of them is completely gone. All because we're not going to tell you why.
Yep. But let's move on to Tom Clancy. Seriously, Ubisoft, like, I want to count the number of Tom Clancy games here. So we got Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, because we got a new season of that. Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Yes, Breakpoint, yep.
The one that features John Bernthal, so he showed up.
Yeah, he came around, and he was still in Punisher mode.
Yeah, he felt a little more out of place than Keanu did, but I still appreciated him showing up.
Keanu felt like, man, this is my people for at least a few minutes.
Yeah, like he felt like he had to awkwardly, read the cue cards, and he just kind of wanted to gush.
Right.
Bernthal, he was like, I'm just gonna do what I'm here to do.
Yeah, I'm here to read cards and present this game. Like,
that's fine.
That's fine. That's cool. I mean, you can't expect more from people like this. Like, I'm not gonna say that like every person has to be a gamer that does a presentation, but there are going to be those times where you bring people in that may not have that same level of charisma for a game as somebody else will. It is what it is.
Did you ever see Tom Hanks at the 2009 Electronic Conference?
Yes!
That is one of my favorite presentations from a guy who clearly is unhappy to be there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was talking about Tom Clancy, yeah, because we had 2 already. We have Elite Squad, which that feels like a parody.
Yeah, that I don't know what that is.
I got a few things on this list I can ridicule, and that's one of them. And then we got Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Quarantine, which I'm like, sure. And we got Division. Then we got Division 2, so that's 5 Tom Clancy games.
Yes.
Oh my God! Stop trying to revive Tom Clancy from the dead.
Do you not have enough tactical shooters in your life?
Good Lord. Breathe, people. And to top it all off, they reveal a new game called Gods and Monsters.
Yes.
And all we know about it is it looks like Breath of the Wild.
I was about to say it's like Breath of the Wild, but it's made by people that made... What, is it Odyssey or Origins for Assassin's Creed?
I think it was Origins. Might have been Odyssey. But it looks like the most... It just, with such an uninspired name and such... It just feels like a giant ripoff.
And the overall just felt bland. I mean...
It felt like more of Hyrule from Breath of the Wild.
Right. But nothing in it. That was a really, really bad... That was a really bad decision and outcome for that. Like, I don't know what it's going to be, but from what I can see, it's not going to... Anybody's going to be talking about it.
No. Like, the only thing that really got me hyped about Ubisoft was Watch Dogs Legion. Because, of course, hey, old lady with a gun.
Yes! Stunt Granny is here. But,
yes.
But, the one thing I will say about Legion, which I was shocked about, I think I'm like one of the few people who like Watch Dogs 2 a lot.
No. More people like Watch Dogs 2 than they like Watch Dogs.
Well, that's obvious. Like, who wouldn't? But, like, Watch Dogs 2 didn't get, to me, half as much praise as it deserved. Like, it was a really good game to me. And
yeah, it was pretty good.
And when I heard about Legions, I didn't know what to expect. But to me, and then when they were saying, like, oh, you can play as NPCs, it's not as straightforward as I thought it was going to be in that sense, which I'm fine with. But it's like more of like a State of Decay kind of NPC thing, like where you have a group of people that might look different depending on who's playing the game, but like a majority, like the base stats and the way they are made for that. Like, it's not just, oh, I can pick a random NPC off the side of the street and now I can start playing as them.
Yeah, I know it's interesting. I am feeling it though. I think.
No, I'm really excited about it. Like, the only thing I'm disappointed about is the fact like they've done it again. They put it at a bad release time, I believe.
Yeah. Shenmue 3's got that too. Man, it's just not gonna...
Oh yeah, because Shenmue got pushed back. That's right. So yeah, that's at a bad time too.
Oh yeah.
And now with the controversy... Oh man, Shenmue 3's gonna get slaughtered.
You're not wrong.
Oh man.
But, so let's go off to probably... I'm going to say second or third favorite conference.
Okay.
Like, Microsoft probably won this year. Although Nintendo did pretty well when we get to them.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a little tight there.
Yeah, the number one is hard, but Square Enix is definitely a number 2 or a number 3. Because, while most of what they talked about were remasters and re-releases,
right.
A lot of these were things people were waiting for a long time.
Exactly.
Like, they talked about Life is Strange 2. That was awkward. But they have a re-release of Crystal Chronicles coming.
Yes.
Octopath Traveler's on the PC.
Yes.
Right now.
Yeah,
Last Remnant is getting a remaster.
They dropped like right at E3 during E3 time.
Yeah, they did. Which, that's a solid E3 announcement.
Very much so.
You know, it's an old game, but yeah, hey, it's on the PC now.
Right.
Last Remnant's getting a remaster, which, okay.
Isn't that just for the Switch, though?
Yeah. That's... Dragon Quest XI's finally on Switch. Cool.
Yeah, I think that's like an Ultimate Edition or something. It's not even just like the base edition. It's like an Ultimate Edition.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Yeah.
They talked about a couple of the indie games they were promoting. Was it? Yeah, Final Fantasy XIV. I loved the one guy in the crowd who cared about the trailer stinger. When the guy says something, because the guy's like, "They are the primals," and then you hear like 2 people go, "What?" and everyone else is just silent. and then you hear them explaining to the person next to them why that's a big deal.
Right.
It's like those two guys are so happy.
Yeah.
Because they actually care about the lore. Yeah, we got more Dying Light 2, which is cool. Nothing really new there, though.
Yeah.
We got the first ever Western release of Romancing Saga 3.
Yes.
And Saga Scarlet Grace, but I think Saga 3 is probably the biggest surprise.
Yeah, very much so.
Because that was one of those games like they're never gonna
do
that.
The West. It's never coming to the West.
And we got more stuff from their freaking mobile games with Brave Exvius.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VIII's getting a remaster.
Yes.
Everyone wanted it.
Yeah, hopefully it's not the freaking it's not like the PC port. I mean, not the PC, the mobile port. Hopefully it's not like that.
No, it should be fine.
Just really actually do a good job here.
No, it sounds like they're going to do a good job.
Yeah.
If nothing else, it looks like PS3 graphics.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is, or at least, Dissidia 2?
Yeah.
Something like that. And then, of course, we got the new stuff, which included Outriders.
Yeah, that was very interesting.
Yeah, it was something kind of outside their wheelhouse, which I'm always down for. And then we got, of course, probably the big two, Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah.
I really wish they would clear up this episodic thing.
Well, now they're saying that they don't know how many games it's going to be. So.
I know, they said this game is going to be 2 discs, and it may just cover Midgar.
Yeah, they're pretty much saying it's all going to be Midgar. So
2 discs to Midgar.
We're going to get out of Shinra. Out of the Shinra offices, the headquarters, and that's going to be the end of the game. We're going to have that moment where they're at the end of the bridge. That's the end of the game.
That is insane.
That really is.
Like, I know that Midgar takes up like 6-7 hours, but dear God.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, at the most, it may be 10 hours. If
yeah.
If you really do a lot of stuff in Midgar, it's like 10 hours at the most.
I know, so they're clearly going to add a lot.
I don't know how much they're going to add, and then also how much are they going to take away.
I'm sure the internet will be pissed if they take out the cross-dressing.
I was about to say, because I don't see cross-dressing Cloud is happening now. I just don't see that.
I'm really curious where this is all going to go. Like, I like the new combat system for the most part.
I do, but the only problem I have with it, and maybe that's just because of the lighting, it just looked too flashy, which I know sounds kind of ridiculous, but it's like just so much is going on. Like, you see so many numbers popping up, you see so many light shows.
Yeah.
Like it's just a little bit too much going on from a visual aspect for that, but it could be a lot worse, though.
Absolutely. No, I like that the ATM meter is back.
Yes.
Even if it's not what it used to be.
Yeah, they modified it very similar to like what you could do in Final Fantasy 15, where you could stop time and kind of strategize a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like they did a better job than they did in 15.
Absolutely, it's a little more balanced.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that you can see the materia under people's equipment now.
Oh yeah, that was also.
Yeah, like the detail in this game is insane.
Yeah, especially for this generation. Like,
but I'm also worried about because Midgar is all about scripted parties.
Yes.
Once you leave Midgar, you're not in a scripted party anymore.
Right, and there's actually more characters that come involved in your party as well, so...
I'm really curious, like, how this is going to translate, because, like, even if the first game, which, it's going to be so annoying, I really hope they have enough content for this.
Yes.
If this first game is just all in Midgar, once you leave, oh boy, because, I mean, there's so much interesting stuff you can do outside of it. I mean, just think about the fact...
I'm wondering now, more and more, how open the world is really going to be.
They may not make Yuffie and Vincent optional this time.
Yeah, I'm really expecting this to be more linear than what we experienced with Final Fantasy VII originally.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
But I'm still feeling the hype to a degree, I'd say.
Oh, no, I'm definitely... It took a while, but I'm back into it now.
Yeah.
And now, of course, we have to also mention March 3rd, 2020. So, I mean, we have a release date now.
Yeah, and it's right before my birthday. Will this be another Mass Effect 3, or will I feel joy again? You decide. And, of course, we also got, real quick, because we got to talk about Nintendo as well, Marvel's Avengers.
Yeah. It didn't get much. Unlike the remake of Final Fantasy VII, we didn't get really any gameplay. But it seemed like in the footage, it was kind of like spliced in a little bit. Like it wasn't all just CGI.
No, that was definitely some gameplay in there.
Yeah.
It's just not entirely clear how the gameplay is going to work.
Exactly.
Which is, kind of annoying, but it's still coming out next May, so,
This 2020 is going to really put, like, any years we've said, oh my goodness, especially like the holiday season, like, oh, this is the most packed gaming season we've ever seen. Like, 2020 is going to put it to shame.
Yeah, pretty much.
February and May.
Yeah. That's more or less. I can't really think of a better time to be a March gamer.
I know. Start saving those pennies now, kids.
Yep. And I guess I forgot to mention. Which one is it? Trials of Mana.
Oh yeah, I was about to say the Mana Saga.
Yeah.
Is for Switch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Trials of Mana, that's the first time it's coming out in the West as well.
Yes.
So that was worth talking about, I thought. But
yeah, Switch getting a lot of little exclusive remasters and
that one's not going to be exclusive.
Oh really?
I think that's on PC as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but so Nintendo, we got more Smash, including 2 new DLC characters. We get the hero from Dragon Quest, because Dragon Quest is one of the most important RPGs in Japanese history. I'm not joking.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And then we also got Banjo-Kazooie for the Western fans.
Oh yeah, I saw Banjo trending. I just naturally assumed that they would actually drop a new Banjo game. And no, you just get to play as him, but at least he still exists.
Yep. Yeah, we got Luigi's Mansion. We got
Luigi's Mansion 3. Yep.
We got the remaster of Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
Which
more
a lot of people are hyped about that.
More chibi style.
Yeah. Well, what can you do? Witcher 3 Complete Edition on the Switch. Which, oh man.
How in the world is this gonna work?
Yep. More Fire Emblem 3 Houses. I'm feeling that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a Fire Emblem fan.
Yes.
They're getting Resident Evil 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Ugh. No More Heroes 3, feeling that.
Yeah. No More Heroes 3 gets announced for this one.
Yep. More Contra.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah, very odd too. It's not like straightforward side-scrolling shoot-'em Contra. It's very out there, kind of wacky Contra.
Yeah, we also got Panzer Dragoon.
Yeah, it's really.
Sorry,
it doesn't take on Contra.
Yeah, sorry, I gotta have us here. Panzer Dragoon's getting a remake as well.
Oh yeah.
That's got a lot of hype. So many remakes are getting hype. And it's fair though, because Panzer Dragoon's a pretty popular game.
Yeah, and it's not like it's one of those games that it has a long-running series or it hasn't been critically acclaimed for its time. Like it's one of those things that people really can't get their hands on if they wanted to, without like spending an exorbitant amount of money.
Exactly. So this is very welcome. And then we got more info on Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, which is all about fighting Thanos, the Black Order. We got Animal Crossing is coming soon.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are upset about that getting pushed back, but hey, it's coming, so don't worry.
And Nintendo, they say, we want to release it right. We don't want to, so they take the hits.
Right, exactly.
Like, they're troopers like that. And, of course, we got the announcement, Zelda has cut her hair.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild's getting a sequel, which, no shock.
Yeah.
That basically revitalized love in the Zelda franchise.
Yeah, they've really hitting it strong with Zelda for this E3.
Yeah.
The fact is, like, when did Breath of the Wild come out? Because I know it came out like pretty much right with the Switch.
Yeah, it was like 2017, I think.
Right. So it doesn't feel like it's actually been that long, but people have been clamoring because I think they thought they were get DLC and everything else too. So.
Yep.
They feel a little bit satisfied now.
Absolutely. No, it's because there was a bit of DLC, but now they're just like, yeah, we're making a sequel.
Well, we won't see, but there weren't anybody crying in the audience like it was for Twilight Princess.
Nope. Well, I think that's pretty much going to wrap it up, though. I'd say we're feeling the hype, though.
Oh yeah, no, solid E3. I think is a lot better than a lot of people give it credit for.
Yeah.
I think like just the overall presentations hurt the atmosphere of the game announcements. Like if you step back and just look at all the stuff that was announced, it was actually a really good E3.
Absolutely. It's just a lot of it was remakes and remasters and stuff, which.
And it was all surrounded by a lot of just confusion, mobile games, and just stupidity when it came to presentation choices.
Yeah, what can you do? But luckily, Keanu Reeves has our back.
I know.
Well, I think on that note, I'm going to wrap it up here.
Sounds good.
Thank you for being here, James.
Oh, yeah, always a pleasure. I'm just going to put my mask on and start scribbling my logos in my little notepad, and if you don't hear from me, you know what happened.
Oh, man. Brightburn!
Brightburn! Oh, man, if they would have had somebody do that.
Old man yells at Brightburn.
Yeah, because like, there's a little montage at the end, so stay for the credits, folks. Like, there's a little montage. Like, they had a person yelling. Old man yells at Cloud, but instead he yells at Brightburn.
Yep. Well, until next time, folks, don't yell at clouds.